She declared, "You don't need to know what goes on during a girl's getaway. That's why you're cut off until I'm back." I didn't respond. But when she returned, expecting me to greet her at the airport, she discovered who was truly waiting for her. I'm a private detective. It's a profession that transforms you. You learn to view the world through layers of honesty and deceit. You learn to judge people not by their words, but by their actions. And most crucially, by what they attempt to conceal. My girlfriend of 3 years, Sarah, always said my work made me overly skeptical. In truth, my job hadn't made me skeptical enough. Our relationship was, I believed, my one refuge from the world I navigate. It was the one place I didn't have to search for hidden agendas, lies, or ulterior motives. We were a team. We lived in my home, a property I'd earned through a decade of late nights and dangerous cases. We had shared dreams, a shared existence. I trusted her. In my line of work, trust is the ultimate currency, and I had invested all of it in her. The trouble began, as it often does, with a trip. A 5-day girl's getaway to Las Vegas with her 3 closest friends. There was Tara, the instigator, twice divorced and always on the prowl. There was Mia, the shadow, who mimicked Tara's personality. And there was Zoe, reserved but always observing, calculating. I didn't care for them. They were brash, shallow, and treated Sarah like their trophy, constantly reminiscing about the reckless days she had before settling down with a predictable, dependable guy like me. A few days before the trip, I was helping Sarah pack. I asked for her flight details and the hotel's name just in case something went wrong. She turned to me, her eyes cold and unfamiliar. "You don't need to know that," she said. I was stunned. "What do you mean? I just want to know where you'll be." She folded her arms, her tone sharp and patronizing. "It's a girl's trip, David. The whole point is to escape everything, including you. You don't need to know what happens on a girl's getaway. That's why you're cut off until I'm back." I stared at her, cut off. She wasn't just requesting privacy. She was enforcing a 5-day blackout. She was drawing a boundary between her life and ours. I didn't react. I didn't shout. I didn't argue. In my profession, when someone builds a barrier, you don't try to tear it down. You find a way to bypass it. My mind, trained to analyze every angle, shifted into work mode. The boyfriend vanished. The detective took over. "All right," I said, my voice steady. "I understand. Have a great time." Her bold, defiant expression wavered for a moment, replaced by a flicker of uncertainty. She had anticipated resistance. She had wanted it. A confrontation would have validated her stance. My calm acceptance left her with nothing to push against. She left the next morning. I drove her to the airport. She was lively, thrilled, already in vacation mode. As she stepped out of the car, she leaned in to kiss me. "Don't miss me too much," she said with a playful wink. "I'll call you when I land to let you know I'm unblocking you." "I won't," I replied. She laughed, assuming I was teasing. I watched her walk into the terminal, pulling her suitcase behind her. Then I drove off. I didn't go home. I went to my office. The investigation had already started. She thought she was entering a 5-day blackout. She had no idea I was about to illuminate her world. She expected me to be waiting at the airport when she returned. She was partially right. I wouldn't be there. But she was about to learn who was really waiting for her. Update 1**. It's been 1 week since Sarah left for her girl's getaway. For her, it's been a week of parties, photos, and secrets. For me, it's been a week of silent, meticulous work. The kind of work I excel at. The first thing I did at my office was straightforward. I traced the license plate of the car that picked up her 3 friends that morning. Tyra had shared a photo of the 4 of them outside her house, ready to depart. The vehicle in the background was a luxury SUV. The plate was registered to a man named Ethan Brooks. A quick search revealed Ethan Brooks was a senior executive at a prominent financial firm in the city. He was also married, with 2 young children. Curious. Sarah had told me they were flying on a budget airline. A little digging into flight records for Las Vegas that day painted a different picture. There were no tickets under her name or her friends' names on any commercial flight. But there was a private jet owned by Ethan Brooks' firm that had filed a flight plan from our city to Las Vegas that morning. The passenger list wasn't public, but I didn't need it to be. The puzzle was already taking shape. The blackout was a gift. It wasn't a barrier. It was evidence of deception. She thought it would keep me in the dark. Instead, it gave me the freedom to operate without pretending to be the trusting partner. Her friends, however, were careless. They were overconfident. Mia, the follower, had a public social media account. She was a goldmine of information. Throughout the week, she posted a constant stream of photos and videos. They were all carefully staged to look like a girl's trip. Images of the 4 of them with cocktails by the pool. a clip of them dancing at a nightclub, a selfie in front of a famous casino. But amateurs always slip up. In the reflection of Mia's sunglasses in one selfie, I could see the distinct silhouette of a man sitting across from them at a cabana. In the background of a nightclub video, I saw Tara laughing and leaning closely into a man who was definitely not her ex-husband. The biggest mistake was a photo Zoe shared. It was a group shot of the four of them at an upscale dinner. In the background on the wall was a unique piece of art, a bold, abstract painting. A reverse image search took me less than 5 minutes. The painting was a well-known piece displayed in the private dining room of one of the most exclusive high-roller suites at the Bellagio. A suite not available to the public, a suite reserved for the casino's most elite clients. I made a few calls. I have contacts in Las Vegas, people who owe me favors. A friend in casino security confirmed it for me. The suite was registered to Ethan Brooks. He was there for the week entertaining a group of clients, and his guests included 4 women. My girlfriend, Sarah, was one of them. This wasn't a girls' trip. It was a paid event. She wasn't on vacation with her friends. She was an accessory for a wealthy married man and his business associates. The entire trip, the secrecy, the blackout, it was all a cover for a life she was living that excluded me. The final piece of the puzzle was the most painful. In one of Mia's videos, I saw Sarah in the background. She was laughing, holding a drink and talking to a man. I couldn't see his face clearly, but there was something familiar about him. I isolated the audio, enhanced it, and ran it through a voice analysis program. It was a long shot, but I needed certainty. The program matched the voice to a sample in my database. The voice belonged to a man named Ryan. Her ex-fiancé, the man she claimed she loathed. The man she said had betrayed her and shattered her heart. He was one of Ethan Brooks' clients. The entire thing was a fabrication, a complex, layered, and deeply offensive lie. She hadn't just gone on a trip without me. She had gone to be with another man, funded by yet another man, all while pretending to be with her friends. My next steps were obvious. This wasn't a situation that called for a discussion. It demanded a consequence, a public, undeniable, and life-changing consequence. I started with Ethan Brooks' wife, Olivia. I ran a background check on her. She was a respected pediatrician, a mother, a woman who seemed unaware of her husband's activities during his business trips. I didn't contact her directly. That wasn't my role. But I compiled a dossier. A concise digital package containing the jet's flight plan, the hotel suite registration, and the social media photos, including those showing her husband with Tara. I sent the dossier to a reputable divorce attorney in her city, along with an anonymous note. You might want to share this with your client, Olivia Brooks. It appears her husband's business trips are more eventful than she realizes. Next, I addressed Ryan, the ex-fiancé. He was a property developer. Public records showed he was embroiled in a contentious business dispute with former partners. I have a contact who's an investigative journalist. I sent him an anonymous tip about a property developer funding his extravagant lifestyle and Las Vegas trips with misappropriated funds. I included Ryan's name and details about his business dealings that weren't hard to uncover if you knew where to look. Finally, I prepared for Sarah's return. She was due to land on Sunday afternoon. She had texted me from a friend's phone a few days earlier, a short, upbeat message. Having a blast, can't wait to see you. Pick me up at 3 p.m. on Sunday. I'll unblock you when I'm on the plane. I responded with a simple, okay. She was expecting me. She anticipated a warm embrace, a kiss, and a quiet drive home where she'd share a curated version of her trip. She had no idea what was actually waiting for her. I found the one person who had more right to be at that airport than I did. It took 2 days of relentless work, but I found her. The live-in girlfriend of Ryan, the ex-fiancé. Her name is Claire. She's a schoolteacher, and she had no clue her boyfriend was in Las Vegas. He had told her he was at a wellness retreat in Arizona with no cell service. I called her. It was the toughest call I've ever made. I explained who I was and what I'd uncovered. I sent her the evidence, the audio file, the photos, the hotel details. She was quiet for a long time, then she broke down. But after the tears came a cold, steely anger that mirrored my own. I told her about Sarah's flight. I gave her the landing time and made her an offer. She's expecting me to be there, I said, but I think you're the one she should see first. Claire agreed instantly, so the stage was set. The players were ready. Sarah's flight was due to land in 24 hours. She was expecting a warm welcome. She had no idea she was walking into a reckoning. Update 2, the events of the past few days have been more tumultuous and more gratifying than I could have imagined. The airport wasn't just a confrontation, it was an explosion. And I was the one pulling the pin, from miles away. I wasn't at the airport on Sunday. I was at home, monitoring the situation through a live feed from a private security contractor I'd hired. He was posing as a chauffeur, holding a sign with a different name, his phone camera streaming directly to my laptop. Sarah's flight landed on schedule. I watched as she and her 3 friends emerged from the gate into the baggage claim area. They were tanned, laughing, and weighed down with shopping bags. Sarah was on her phone, a wide smile on her face. She was probably texting me, saying she'd arrived, expecting me to be waiting outside. As they walked through the main doors into the arrivals hall, I saw Claire. She stood there, poised and collected, holding a large, professionally printed sign. On it was a sharp, high-resolution photo I'd obtained from my casino contact. It showed Sarah and Ryan sitting together at a blackjack table in the High Roller Lounge, his arm draped possessively around her. Sarah saw Claire first. Her smile froze. Her face drained of color. She stopped in her tracks. Her friends, still chatting, bumped into her. They followed her gaze to Claire, then to the sign she held. The laughter stopped. Claire didn't shout. She didn't scream. She just stood there, letting the image speak for itself. The arrivals hall was bustling, but a small pocket of silence and intense drama formed around them. People paused, stared, pulled out their phones. Sarah tried to recover. She started to walk away, pretending she didn't know Claire. But Claire was ready. She stepped forward, her voice clear and steady, loud enough for everyone nearby to hear. "Ryan sends his regrets," Claire said. "He couldn't be here to greet you himself. He's a bit occupied explaining this photo to me." Sarah's friends looked at her, their faces a mix of shock and growing dread. They had been complicit in the lie, and now they were caught in the fallout. At that precise moment, a man in a sharp suit approached. He was a process server I'd hired. He walked straight up to Sarah. "Sarah Miller?" he asked, his voice professional and loud. She nodded, dazed. "You've been served," he said, handing her a thick legal envelope. Inside was a formal eviction notice. She had 30 days to remove her belongings from my property. Also included was a restraining order, barring her from contacting me or coming within 500 feet of my home or office. The combination of public humiliation and legal documents was overwhelming. Sarah collapsed. She dropped her bags, buried her face in her hands, and began to sob. Her friends didn't rush to comfort her. They grabbed their own bags and scattered, vanishing into the crowd like roaches fleeing light. They wanted no part of the mess they'd helped create. My contractor's camera captured it all. The confident, radiant woman who had cut me off 5 days earlier was now sitting on the airport floor, surrounded by her luxury shopping bags, utterly alone. The aftermath has been swift and thorough. Ethan Brooks' wife, Olivia, didn't hesitate. The day after I sent her lawyer the dossier, she filed for divorce. She also, I've heard, transferred a significant portion of their joint assets into a trust for her children, a move permitted by their prenuptial agreement in cases of infidelity. Ethan is facing a costly, public, and messy divorce. His firm is reportedly reevaluating his role, as the scandal doesn't align with their family-friendly image. Tara, the trip's ringleader, has been named in the divorce proceedings. Ryan, the ex-fiancé, is in deeper trouble. The journalist I tipped off published a story about his questionable business practices. His partners are suing him, and his reputation is ruined. Claire has left him and, with my assistance, is preparing her own legal action against him for financial damages. And Sarah, her life is in ruins. She has no partner, no home, and her friends have deserted her. She had to call her parents to pick her up from the airport. I can only imagine that conversation. She's now living in their guest room, a 30-year-old woman whose life has been reset to nothing. She's tried to contact me, of course. She's used burner phones, new email accounts, everything. I haven't responded. My lawyer sent her a cease and desist letter reminding her of the restraining order. Her friends have also reached out, each with their own feeble attempt at damage control. They claim they had no idea what was really happening, that Sarah lied to them. I haven't responded to them either. They're irrelevant. I spent the week after her return methodically erasing her from my life. Her belongings were packed by a professional moving company and sent to her parents' address. I changed my phone number. I've scrubbed my social media. To her and her world, I've become invisible. She thought she was playing a game. She thought she could have it all, the stability I offered and the excitement of a secret life. She didn't realize that in my world there are no games. There are only facts, evidence, and consequences. She gave me a 5-day blackout. I gave her a lifetime of it. Final update, it's been 6 months since the airport confrontation. The dust hasn't just settled. It's been swept away, leaving a clean slate. I'm writing this final update not to revel in the outcome, but to close this chapter of my life and outline the final, quiet consequences of a series of very loud mistakes. My life has moved forward in ways I didn't anticipate. After the initial thrill of retribution faded, I felt a void. I had triumphed, but the victory felt empty. I had spent so much time searching for deceit in others that I'd forgotten how to seek the good. The person who helped me shift that perspective was Claire, Ryan's ex-girlfriend. We stayed in touch after the airport incident. We were two people betrayed by the same lie, and we found an odd comfort in that shared experience. We started meeting for coffee, then dinner. We talked about everything but the betrayal. We discussed our careers, our families, our aspirations. I found a woman who was kind, witty, and remarkably resilient. We're dating now. It's slow, cautious, and built on a foundation of complete transparency. It's the most authentic thing in my life. The lives of those who caused so much chaos, however, have reached their own fitting conclusions. Ethan Brooks' divorce was finalized. It was ruthless. Olivia, armed with the evidence I provided, took everything she was legally entitled to. He lost his home, a significant portion of his wealth, and his position at the financial firm. His reputation is in tatters. Tara, named in the divorce, has become a social pariah. The wealthy men she used to associate with now see her as a risk. Ryan's legal troubles have escalated. The article about his business practices sparked an official investigation. He faces multiple lawsuits and potential criminal charges. He's lost everything. And Sarah, her story is the quietest and in some ways the most poignant. After months of living with her parents, she finally found a job and moved into a small apartment. She's starting over, but she's doing it alone. Her friends never returned. Her reputation hasn't recovered. I received one final message from her about 2 months ago. It was a letter forwarded by my lawyer. It was a long, handwritten apology. She didn't make excuses. She didn't ask for a second chance. She took responsibility. She wrote that the public humiliation at the airport was the worst day of her life. But it was also the day she finally saw herself for who she was. A person who valued others' attention more than the love of one. She wrote that she's in therapy and hopes to become someone she can be proud of someday. She ended the letter by saying she didn't expect forgiveness, but she was genuinely sorry for the pain she caused me. I read the letter, and for the first time I didn't feel anger or triumph. I felt closure. I believe her apology was sincere. But I also believe that some things, once shattered, can't be repaired. My revenge wasn't just about exposing a lie. It was about forcing a group of people who lived in a world of illusions to confront an undeniable truth. The airport was a stage, and on that stage they were all forced to remove their masks. What remained wasn't pretty. I don't think about them anymore. My life is full. I have a partner I trust, a business I take pride in, and a peace I haven't felt in years. I still see the world in layers, but now I'm better at recognizing the good alongside the bad. Sarah thought she could shut me out for 5 days. She didn't realize that in doing so, she gave me the space to build a new barrier, one that would shield my life from her kind of chaos forever. And behind that barrier, everything is calm, everything is secure, and everything is real.